to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirusho here. Now then, where we last left off, Deku and Mina, they just found Mr. Shigaraki. But he was different. He was not himself. And whatever has happened to him, his quirk got a massive power up, as he just used it to take out an entire city block. Along with that, Deku, he basically had to knock out a guy before Mina killed him with her acid, because she was panicking and thought that might be the only way for her and him to make it out of that situation. Luckily enough, the men did not try and remove their mask, so they were able to at least get by. Now, let us begin. I believe we are still a year from over the anime starting. So, let's do a little bit of a time jump. I want to say 6 to 7 months. So roughly about 4 to 5 months before then. Deku and Mina. Actually, yeah, no, let's jump up to the anime starting, actually. I do believe that should be a good point. Over the last year, Deku and Mina, not only have they been working as vigilantes, they have also been training and actually improving upon their own quirks. Now, one day after school, Deku, him and Mina are actually talking, and they are basically going to go figure out another location. Because they've realized that all these gang deals and everything that's going on, Mr. Shigaraki will pop up in from time to time. He either kills the men and takes whatever they're hiding or doing, or whatever supplies are at that location. Basically, I'm just giving this a way in, since that would be how All For One is able to fund his operations, by stealing the diamonds that would be in a warehouse, or the gold or the jewelry, and just melting it down in regular, gold bars and selling them off. Those things are very expensive. I believe like just one gold bar alone is 50k. Now, along with that, let us continue. Now then, Deku, him and Mina, he has a lot more information than last time. This basically is just, last time was him scratching the surface. Now he's basically got notebook after notebook piled up of evidence, surveillance, and anything he can find. Now, basically these two would go out, and Deku, he basically poses as someone who's he basically just wears a fake wig and acts like a tourist, taking pictures and actually exploring the area. People are watching him as he's doing all that, and he actually does that stupid selfie stuff, along with him just essentially just having a smile and being all cheeky about it. Now, an hour later we will cut to Deku's house. Mina is asking more about what happened or what he did, and he just said that he just did the old trick. Oh, so you did that tourist thing? Yeah. Ah, it's so annoying to do. Yeah, well, you're the only one who could pass for a foreigner of the two of us. Really? Yeah. Come on. You can rock the blonde pretty well. Huh. Well, as long as we both know that. Deku, he would just develop the photos, and he would find that his target, who might have information, actually is at the warehouse, along with the fact that he saw them entering. Now, later that night, Deku and wrong person. Deku and Mina, they are actually just getting ready, along with Deku getting his getting his gloves. No, They would arrive at the warehouse, and Deku would see the man. Deku, he basically just is waiting on what's going to happen, as he would see that the men actually meet up and talk with a doctor. They're talking with this doctor, and the doctor would just ask them if they have the equipment. They would just say yes, and in fact it's all here, as they reveal a lot of different types of medical equipment. This is confusing Deku, as Mina, she's starting to lose her grip a bit, but Deku, he's basically just telling her to hold on. Now, they are waiting and watching as the men would exchange money, a little bit more contact information, along with actually handing over burner phones. Basically, they would swap burner phones so that they know they're serious, because both of these would be untraceable, not only to themselves, but to each other. Now then, after that, Deku, he would actually drop down, and Mina and him would get to quick work taking out all of the gang members, until Deku, he basically would run over, and he would actually grab the doctor and slam him up against a wall, as he would actually just rip off part of his mask and just start telling the doctor that he has information he needs. Tomura Shigaraki, where is he? Huh. What do you mean? That guy's dead. No, he's not. And I think you know where he might be. What makes you think that? As Deku, he would just say that he has contacts in the underworld. Oh, so who would you be? Deku would just take off his glove as he reveals his hand. The doctor is confused until Deku, he immediately just sits it on the cement pillar right next to him, and it immediately begins to decay. As that happens, the doctor's just thinking, wait, that's Tomura Shigaraki's. So, are you that Shigaraki kid's son? No. I actually am not related to him at all. He was my mentor. Now, where is he? You've got guts, kid, but I got to tell you one thing. And what is that? As Deku immediately just hears a gunshot. Deku looks behind him, and he sees that Mina is actually struggling with a guy, as he feels a sharp pain in his left arm. Deku, he immediately just brings his right arm up as he touches behind his bicep, and the doctor immediately just pushes against Deku, knocking him over as he begins running. Deku's clutching his arm as the men are struggling with Mina. They would actually pull her mask off and see her identity, along with one of them actually walking over and getting Deku. As soon as that happens, the man would pick up Deku, telling him that it's over, kid. Deku would just say no, it's not, as he would grab the man's arm, immediately decaying half of it. As the man begins screaming, Deku would run over and he actually begins doing this to some more of the guys. These are not going to be fatal, but they are going to hurt like a son of a bitch. As soon as that would happen, Deku, he would immediately just take off running with Mina, as these two would go to a nearby park. Fuck, why does it hurt to get shot so much? Oh. Quit crying, you baby. I'm sorry. You got shot in the shoulder. I think I actually hit something. Alright. Well, we still have some of that old stuff from last time, so just let's at least try and get to your home first. Yeah, but it's gonna be a bit difficult sneaking back in. You sneak back in all the time. Yeah, but I think she's getting suspicious. Don't worry about it. As Deku and Mina, they would sneak back into Deku's room, and, well, it would eventually get to the point where Deku, he's basically biting. Let's say he had, he had a metal stick, well, not a metal stick, but a wooden stick in his room that he can put in his mouth, as Mina would put tweezers into his arm and try pulling out the bullet. Now these are actually medical, well, they're basically medical pliers actually, as she would put them in as she would have him twist his arm and bend it. She'd be pulling these out as Deku is basically putting his face into a pillow and screaming with this thing in his mouth. As that would happen, Mina would eventually get Deku patched up, along with the fact that he would also get his shirt back on. Now, after that, she would basically hide the equipment underneath Deku's bed or under his mattress, as these two are both sitting there and talking for a second. Deku basically just clutching his left arm, if not at least supporting it, as they're trying to go over all the information. Deku, he immediately hears door jiggling as Mina would just tackle him onto his bed. As that happens, Inko basically walks in on these two making out. Or at least she thinks, as she basically just gets embarrassed and actually walks out of the room. Just confused as to why Mina is actually at their house. Mina would basically pull away and get off of Deku in a rush. Kinda confusing him. Sorry about that. So, what? Huh? Never seen you this confused. If me and you were just hanging out randomly in the middle of the night, your mom's gonna get suspicious. I at least thought that would help. Sorry about that. Yeah, don't worry about it. Anyways, we got a bigger problem. There was sorry, a little out of it right now. The gunshot or the kiss? Yeah. Those guys saw our faces, so we have to be careful. What do you mean? They pulled off your mask before we left. They also pulled off mine. Shit. Yeah. Now, as that's going on, let's see, 5 months before the start of the anime. Let's continue. Now, 5 months would actually pass, and this is whenever people would actually ask who wants to go to you. There. That actually hurt. Now, the 5 months would pass, not like in canon. Deku and Mina actually training their quirks to get stronger, and actually doing all this and all that. Now, after a bit of time, these two would basically be getting a bit closer and actually hanging out more. As they are walking home, they basically would stop by an arcade and are messing around a bit. As they are doing so, they would basically leave, and Deku is told that he needs to stop by a store or stop by this little place to essentially pick up something for his mom. He would stop by and he would actually have a run-in with somebody there. He would basically run into one of those guys from the warehouse, but as soon as Deku realizes it's one of them, he immediately looks up as he would just turn his head. As the man would actually look up at him, he's confused as to why Deku's not looking at him, and Deku would just say it's because of his quirk, but also he just needs that item. As he tries to explain it, the man sees Deku's wearing gloves. Along with that, he also does seem to have a little bit of he has the same voice as the guy that attacked him, he's thinking, or at least very similar. As Deku's actually trying to make his voice deeper. Deku would basically pick up the item as he would at least turn his head and thank the man as he just walks out with his head down. The man's actually thinking about this more, thinking that as he immediately starts calling people, saying that the guy that attacked them a couple months ago just was at his store. As he actually would get people to tail Deku. Now, these people would be tailing him for the next month or so as they see where he goes to school, where he goes to train, where he goes to sleep, his house, his mother, his father, his friends, along with the fact that finding a girl with pink skin and a similar quirk to what they think the girl actually had, they would find that not only do they have the right guy, he is also in connection with the same girl that attacked them. So the two were essentially friends, is what they think. If not, they might be a couple. So they're thinking that if that guy really wants to piss them off, they know a good way to piss him off. What's worse than killing a guy's girl? Burning everything he cares about and taking her. Now, sorry about that, guys. Got interrupted. I'm gonna need to essentially do something after I record this, so I won't be posting for a minute. But with the way Wi-Fi's been acting, video processing and posting will basically take probably almost an hour. If not around 30 minutes. It's so annoying. Now, after they basically confirmed Deku is the vigilante, after watching him basically get dressed and actually leaving for the night, along with the fact the other team can confirm Mina actually did leave her residence. Basically, they would say that, so, why are a couple of middle schoolers doing this? Can't tell, but from whenever we were able to gather from people at their school, from posing as cops or authorities, basically, they call that kid the villain. Really? What's his quirk? Well, they all describe it differently. They call him the most dangerous person alive. The most reckless, the most chaotic. If not, there's different reports. His quirk causes bruising and damage to appear all over the body, or it just disintegrates people. Those are some pretty odd reports. Yeah, well, apparently it happens very often. Anyone he's ever fought against or messed with essentially is like this. So, we can slowly cause damage to the body. It's interesting. Yeah, along with the other girl. People just call her Quirk Acid. Really? Yeah, apparently she can control how deadly that stuff is. Interesting. As the men, both teams, they confirm that both targets are the vigilantes. Deku and Mina would meet up as they meet at the halfway point, a roof in between their two houses. Now, they both immediately start beginning to smell smoke. Deku, he turns around and sees that his house is on fire. As he sees that, he immediately looks in Mina's direction, seeing that her house is also on fire. What? As everyone on the roof, well, basically everything on the roof lights up and there's a lot of flashes and bangs, as Deku and Mina are both surrounded by the entire gang. The men are basically telling Deku and Mina to put their hands up as they have them surrounded. Basically, they would try chloroforming Mina and actually taking her, but Deku, immediately just thinking on his feet, he would just be told to go down to the ground and he would do so. But he would slip off his glove and immediately just start decaying everything underneath them, making the ground fall. As that would happen, he would actually run over to Mina, actually tackle her off the roof, and the building would begin collapsing. As Deku and Mina are falling off the roof, Deku would basically try and protect Mina by wrapping around her, as Deku lands and falls through a garbage can. Basically one of those giant dumpsters. He would land in one, and after probably a couple minutes, he would be able to move again because he actually did land on some pretty solid trash. Although he's going to need a shower. Now, after that, he would be able to at least get Mina awake by pouring some water on her. He would then immediately start running over to his house, as him and Mina are actually trying to make their way there. Mina wants to make her way to go see if her mom is okay, and Deku's trying to go to see if his mom is okay. Basically, they would see that Mina's fire is at least already put out, so they begin heading for Deku's house. Deku would get there, and he would actually basically burst his way past everyone as he's running through the apartment complex. He sees as firefighters are actually having trouble getting through the door because that thing will not open. Deku just pushes them out of the way as he immediately just touches the door. It's burning his palms. As Deku begins shaking them off, he just brings all 5 fingers up once again and actually begins burning through it. The police are watching as the wood begins rotting and Deku immediately just punches through the door. As he runs in, the flames begin to overtake the apartment building. As Deku, he's running through the room, he finds his mom. He finds her and he finds her dead. She is underneath a pillar, along with the fact that she also has a knife in her chest. Deku is in shock as he would basically run over and actually kneel down, seeing what the knife essentially has on it. It has a note for the boy with the quirk. Deku basically just grabs the note as he runs into his room. As he does so, the firefighters and everyone begin running in as they begin trying to put things out. Deku would run into his room, and most of his research and work on where Mr. Shigaraki went is nearly gone. Deku's only able to grab the camera and get out of there before the place would explode. But firefighters and everyone basically put it out after a couple minutes. Now then, as that happens, they would basically be trying to treat Deku for medical attention because of the burns on his hands. Deku, he would just run outside, and Mina, she's still waiting on him, and they would run over to her house, finding that not only was her residence destroyed, but the same thing happened with her mom. Except they kind of are not sure what happened to her. She didn't have a knife in her chest. She only had a broken neck. Now, that is considered foul play on the authorities' part, so they would consider it a murder. Along with that, they would wonder why people would target these 2 kids. Now, that is where I'm going to leave it off, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and we are getting further into insanity. This is where the timeline will actually start kickstarting, and Deku and Mina will have a month before UA to get into the criminal underworld. Now then, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video and have an amazing day. I will try and post more later, because this is going to take probably a while.